we work with mid-market. There is a marketing team that they already have an existing site. Whatever the experience that they have, marketing team, we want to support them. If someone says, like, oh, I've been using Elementor, I've been using Rank Math, I don't want to use Yoast. Like, I'm happy for you to, like, I'm happy, for us to support you on that. So yeah, another analogy I give sometime is iPhone and Android. There is nothing to come Samsung, iPhone, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you have been using it, don't change it.
Yeah, true. From building high visibility blogs in mid 2000s to crafting websites that actually sell for top Australian brands, today's guest turns care and execution into competitive advantage. Welcome to WP Legends. I'm Gautam, co-founder of Seahawk Media. Today, I'm joined by Nirmal Gyanwali, founder of WP Creative, a Sydney-based WordPress agency known for meticulous performance-driven builds with a distinctly Australian focus. Nirmal built his early reputation through design and marketing savvy projects that gained global attention. Since founding WP Creative with his wife in 2015, he's grown the team to 20 plus specialists and served 1,000 plus customers, including household names like Fast Fit Couriers, Optical Co., University of Technology Sydney, and a lot more. Nirmal's blend of creativity, marketing insight, and client centered values continue to shape how WordPress is built and grown from boutique builds to trusted enterprise partnerships, all while staying firmly rooted in Australia. Nirmal, welcome to WP Legends.
Thanks for having me, Gautam. That's a really nice intro. I love that.
Well, well, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm glad that we could make this time. It's roughly 7 a.m. in the morning for me and 5:30 in the evening for you.
4:30 p.m. Friday afternoon, evening in Sydney.
I wake up really early, so I don't mind early podcasts, and it gives me an opportunity to walk my dog earlier, go to the gym earlier. So I'm very happy to do this. Well, last night I got into this Netflix show right before sleeping, and you know what happens when you start a new Netflix show? You have to at least finish one episode, but we'll chat about
I
that later.
know. Then yeah. Look,
Tell me
I'm a
how
morning
it all
person as
began.
well. Yeah, look,
Really?
thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, thank
Hmm.
you. Look, I will maybe give a quick background of myself. You already said pretty much everything. I started my career as a website designer
Hmm.
back in 2004, 5. I was curious to learn, build when I was really first time found out that you could build a website and go live,
Hmm.
offer
Hmm.
value. That was empowering because I was curious about learning computer. I was doing like internet and computer learning. Then I got into the website design and I did for some time. Then I realized like without developing that, if you can't build it like front end, back end, then there is no point. You just do the design. Then I got into the front end and the back end development side of thing, learned a lot. And then I built something. I wanted to build something, and go live. Build something, but without marketing, there is no point. Then got into the
True.
marketing, learned a lot. So I mean, it took a bit time to get there. At the same time, I was in the medicine, which is kind of another topic, but I was bored. That was not my thing. I knew that, but I wasn't there, and I realized why not to utilize the knowledge and use that as an advantage. So I worked with a couple of friends who was kind of more into the medicine, build a health portal, and then build the
Hmm.
e-commerce as well. I'm talking about back in 2006, 7. The idea
Hmm.
was to sell the kind of online pharmacy. People can order online and deliver. And
Gotcha.
then I had to learn a lot of marketing to take that off, and which took it off in a couple of years, which was really good, offered a lot of values, and the health portal became really good. And then one of the pharmaceuticals company found it out, and they acquired the business, and which was a really big gain for me because I was kind of a late teenage learning, and then getting into that game, and it's going, okay, I can do something, I can build something, and it can be valuable for people, and it can be
Gotcha.
valuable, commercially be valuable as well. That was really, I guess, the big lesson. And
Hmm.
I kept working for other agencies. I was working as a designer full time. At the same time, I was working as a developer. Then, yeah, I guess that's where I started. And then I did for almost 10 years, like that one, working as a full-time employee. Then I thought, look,
Hmm.
I had a back of my head, look, I want to build something. I want to build a business. Now I was more curious about building a business which can be sustainable, which can be
And were you in
self-managed.
Australia at that time? Were you in
Then I
Australia at
came
that
in,
time as well?
yeah, I came in 2012. No, I was not in Australia. back when I sold my startup and so on. Then I got into master, actually from Sikkim, Nepal. I did master
Mm,
in IT. Then I wanted to learn
mm,
more because I was just curious to learn. That was my one of my values as well, just curious to learn, keep growing. Then I came to Australia for master in web technology specialization kind of thing. And
mm-hmm.
I got a full-time job. I did one semester. I thought, look, I don't want to keep doing this because it's so expensive. I didn't get much value from the education. Rather, I thought, look, I'm going to go back to field. And I got a job within 3 months.
Mm.
Then kept doing. I wanted to learn the market, but in the back of my head, I look, now I want to build a business. I was curious about that, building something. So at the same time, I knew like the challenges in the market was there are so many dev agencies. I think that's where the positioning of WP Creative comes as well. There are so many dev agencies who are really good at coding. There are so many marketing
So
agencies who are really good at marketing, but they don't know how to do the coding. And there is a kind of big gap. And like that's where WP, I thought, look, there is a gap, and I can fill the gap, which is the agency. That's the foundation we built, and now we help marketing teams fill the gap, do the execution side of thing, which marketing agencies don't want to do it. They don't want to touch the technical, the foundation of the WordPress. That's
yeah,
where come in as well. They don't want to touch the technical hassle, the slow side, and all the clunky back in all these
it's
things.
purely
But we
white
come
glove
in.
service. You offer purely
It
white
is,
glove
it is not
service.
a white label, though we did a lot of. I mean, in the
I mean
beginning, I
white glove.
used to.
Sorry, I meant white
Um,
glove service from start to end.
yeah,
Basically, you do everything.
uh, we do everything. We don't do the marketing.
Okay,
We don't touch the
development.
marketing side of. We're not a marketing agency. We're a dev agency who supports the marketing side of things. That's the kind of unique positioning in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're a dev agency, we don't do the marketing. We support the marketing teams.
And always WordPress.
Mostly,
And always
all
WordPress.
I mean, there is a story behind that. I have done like when I started back in 2004, 5, there was no
Mm-hmm.
WordPress thing. I mean, it was not popular. I did a lot of in HTML myself. And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually
Mm-hmm.
when I was learning, I did custom, like the PHP custom CMS, trying to do that. Then I found that WordPress and Joomla, but I went with Joomla. I don't know if you have used that Joomla
Of course
CMS,
I
which was
have. Yes.
which
Yeah.
was really popular back in those 2007 8. It was popular. They built everything. That's exactly what I wanted when I found, oh my god, it has got everything. And I started using it. I worked as a Joomla developer for almost 5 years. So I was working for a company, for agencies. I
Wow.
worked as a
Okay.
like Joomla for 5 years. That was interesting time because I found, look, Joomla has had everything. But when I came to Australia, um, could be like a similar timing. WordPress started getting really popularity around 2011, 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
They started building not just the blogging tool, more into the kind of businesses. I mean, that's when I found that. And in Australia, for some reason, WordPress was more popular among marketers and among businesses like in 2012, 13. And then I decided to move on to like, that's the demand. That's what people want. I was not attached to one technology because I used so many technologies. And I decided to double down on that. And the whole business was built on, okay, we're going to help marketers. And what does the marketer like? WordPress. Okay. Joomla, I didn't see Joomla at all. So we
Wow,
decided
that's
to
pretty
double down
cool.
on only one thing, that is WordPress and supporting marketing teams.
I think you did the right thing. That's what my agency and what we do at Seahawk Media as well. And I'm glad to see that you have WP Creative. It's a great domain. You know, just you sniped up a very very cool domain. And is it all Australia focused, right? Or New Zealand as
We
well?
only do Australia. Only
Okay.
Australia. We don't, I mean, yeah, we don't have any other clients. I mean, the way that the time zone and everything is designed is to support the marketing teams, and they need support. It's a kind of a,
No, that's also
so
pretty cool because Australia is such a booming economy. You know, everybody has, I haven't had the opportunity to go to Australia, even though I have extensive family. You know, of course, we are from India, so we have
yeah,
family all over the world, needless to say.
yeah.
And I should put you in touch with an uncle of mine who moved to Australia, and he's in Sydney also now, and he started selling samosas in Australia in 2007 or 8, and he's
That
now
is
known as the
interesting.
samosa. And he's now known as the Samosa King of Australia. That much I know. He's got 300 outlets or something
Does he
like
have in
that.
Coles as well? Because I order sometimes from Coles. My wife loves samosa,
I,
and I
I,
do as well.
oh, I'll ask him, but I know, and even my family, like my dad's side, also they're in the jewelry business and they deal with Australia. Even though the
Yeah,
Australian dollar is not as strong as the US dollar sector, but the economy as overall is pretty cool, and I'm glad that you found your way
100%.
around that ecosystem.
Yeah,
And yes, the time zone can be very tricky, sometimes to navigate,
it
but at
is.
the
It is. I mean,
Mm,
it is a big challenge. That's why we haven't decided, we haven't thought about, trying to, expand into other market, because the way we support marketing teams is very time sensitive, because they're running a
mm.
campaign and we target mid market, and that's where we find our fit as well. They're doing a lot of marketing activities, investing a lot of money into ad, so there has to be someone support person to support them to do that when something goes wrong or whatever to launch the
I
campaign as well.
One of my I Seahawk Media is part of the WP Beginner Growth Fund with Syed Balki. If you know Syed Balki in
Yep.
Awesome Motivator,
Yeah. I
yeah,
of course I
and
know. I know.
yeah, he's obviously he's very well known, like so everybody knows him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's one company, Rymera Group, and they have wholesale suite, advanced coupons, WC vendors, if you've heard of them, and they're also part of the
Yep,
growth
I
fund. And
do.
he's also based in Australia, So I
Oh,
remember,
okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah,
I saw
Josh
that yes,
Kolvach,
Seahawk is a part of WP Beginner. I think I saw somewhere that logo. I don't know
yeah,
when you guys kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
worked,
So
but I
Rymera.
think everyone knows WP Beginner, because I mean I think they have been there in the market for a long time.
Yes, yes, yes. 15 plus years and now. But WooCommerce, anything to do with WooCommerce, look at my friend Josh Kolbach, Rymera, our wholesale suite,
Okay.
advanced coupons, WC vendors, and he's also based in Australia. You should definitely catch up with him
Oh
sometime.
yeah.
You know,
Yep.
yeah, I'll introduce you after this podcast. It's
Thank you.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
100%. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tell me about your team. Tell me about your team. How are you structured as team? But I know you and your wife handle like the relationships with the customers, I'm assuming. But tell me about your team a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Look, I think when we started business, when you started the wife, I mean, you have to set boundaries and accountabilities and so on,
Of course.
which was a good thing in many ways. The reason was we were very
Mm,
clear to make the accountability clear, and because I came from a working for I already worked for 10 years for other companies, so I knew like the accountability has to be clear, who is accountable for what.
true.
So we did like since the beginning. I mean, one of the funny thing was I was keen on building website, but when I started WP Creative, like I had to, that's the one thing I had to stop to run the business, to build the business, because I was doing everything, pretty much everything when I started. Like when I
Mm,
like quit the full-time job and then started WP Creative, I was doing from design, build, marketing, sales, invoicing, account, everything, which is pretty common for everyone.
mm,
But then eventually realized, look, to grow the business, I need to get out of this coding thing. I need to get out, my
mm,
hands out of this thing. Then, yeah, then we built a team. I'm originally from Nepal. My wife is originally from Nepal as well. So we went
mm,
back to Nepal, Kathmandu, set up a team, and that's the culture we know. That's the people I know. That's where I grew up. So much easy. And yeah, we interviewed and we had people. Now we have got, I think, around 25, 26 people in Kathmandu office. Everyone is in the office.
wow.
You have got a nice office there.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
That's cool.
yeah, and I think more than 50% are from the beginning, like have been working with us for 6, 7 years. So
Oh,
very
wow. That's
long-standing
pretty
team.
cool.
Yeah, when I went to Nepal last 2 weeks back, yeah, we celebrated I think 4 or 5 people who 80 years, 70 years, 60 years. I was there to celebrate with them.
You're definitely doing something right and giving them good growth. So that's why they're with you. Of course.
Yeah,
You're
we
growing,
have
they're
been growing
growing.
together. We have been growing together. Look, one of our values, I mean, that's what I believe in is learning, always learning, continuous improvement. So this is one of our values. And
Mm,
that brings back to the culture. We had a coach as well, and we worked on so many things around culture, how to set the culture right, how to set those values right. So that was the lot of learning, because I was working as a designer, developer. You don't get to those kind of things, culture thing. You just fix the coding problem. Now we have
true.
got a teamwork and other challenges. So we get into that. It took some time, but we set the values. I think that's what one of the things I'm really proud of what we did in the beginning, even though it took time, it was draining, but um, thought like a distraction at the beginning because we had so many things to do. But
Mm,
that's what we did. So we have got a really good team. They take full accountability. The whole company is set around the structure, the account, extreme ownership kind of the culture we have. So very lean and mean. We don't have big hierarchies and so on. It's kind of boutique team. I mean, we're not that big as well. They manage pretty much everything. We have got a project managers who look after all the client communication, client relationship, and everything. And then we have got the the backend team, design team,
That's how
tech
you
team.
grow.
So
We
that's
are as
all,
strong as our team is. That's We are as strong as
like
team. I'm proud
100%.
to have a team from India, now from Africa continent as well. We never
Yeah,
hired anywhere outside of India, but thanks to COVID, or not thanks to COVID, I don't know how to say that, but we moved from
I know.
office space to a completely remote working environment. We used to have this office also. By the way, sometimes I miss it, but I travel a lot to India. My co-founder Ryan also travels a lot to India, and we meet them. We gather all of them together in the room for a few
Of
days
course,
and
that
brainstorm,
is
catch
important.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I totally understand but that's pretty cool because they can all brainstorm and sit in, and they come to the office every day, almost every day. They come to
yeah,
the office
yeah.
together. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's how
Oh no,
you can ship
that's
things
one of the
quickly.
things I think we found out. Look, we tried during COVID times, everyone was working from home. We know that, but the project manager and the team said, look, now it is challenging to work from home because everyone is in different. Like like the web design development is not a one man thing. You need a team, project manager to design, dev, QA. The
I
like
know.
those all things has to go
Uh,
through that, and the DevOps has to be there to support them. So it's when they are in the room, their life were easier, not just the outcome. Their life was a lot easier because they were kind of communicating, asking the question, collaborating in a lot better way. So that was the thing. I think they commented after some
and
time they told me,
also,
look, it is hard.
and I also must say, like, Kathmandu traffic cannot be as bad as Delhi NCR or Mumbai traffic in India. So like you cannot compare, and they can still reach their
I
offices in
think
time.
that is something never complained. Do you know why? Kathmandu
Hmm.
traffic is bad, not that I wouldn't say it is the best. It is getting worse, but no one
Hmm.
has complained. The reason is they start at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's true because of the Australia time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they drive at like 5:30 a.m. So there is no heavy traffic. And when they go back, they leave around 3 p.m. Kathmandu time, to match with Australian
Actually,
time
that's
zone.
very good. It's actually very
That's
good
very good
for
for
them
them. They have got a
because
free personal time, free time to, catch up with friends, go hang out, do whatever their own personal thing, which is everyone
yeah,
appreciates that flexibility now.
I totally hear you. I have my team now working 24/7. So some of them actually work for the Australia time zone to support our customers for down
Yeah.
under. So I know they're free by 2:33 p.m. also. I know.
Exactly. You have got a free time, and like I mean, initially we get sometimes kind of pushed back on, 6 a.m. is too early. But until they build a habit, I mean, everyone is the same. Until you build a
Of course,
habit, then until your brain sees the benefit,
of course,
then you
that's
you
true.
don't want to wake up. I mean, there is no reason to wake up early. But once you see that, once you build a habit, then everyone is like, oh, look, this is
Tell
really good. Otherwise, I was sleeping until like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. Now I wake up early and I just kind of wrap up my day early.
Gotcha. Now, tell me about your favorite hosting companies. Who do you host with, etc. Give I know because every agency shifts hosting companies. Needless to say, but which are your favorites? Let me ask you that.
That's a really good question. Look, I started from like when in the back in those days, I used maybe mostly GoDaddy hosting in the
Hmm.
beginning. Uh,
Everybody does.
Now not a big fan. Then I think I
Hmm.
used Ventripe, which is a Melbourne-based company. I used a lot
Uh,
building cPanel and all these things.
hmm.
WHMCS, whatever. We don't do that
Hmm.
anymore. For last maybe 10 years, we have been using a lot WP Engine.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very
WP
good company.
Engine. Yeah,
Hmm.
we have been. I think we're one of the. I went to event. I remember I think we're one of the earliest partner in Australia.
Oh wow.
One of
Yeah,
the
10
earliest
years is a
partner of
lot.
development.
You
Yeah.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
been
10
using
years is a lot.
development engine. So I've
Hmm.
tried different things. Now exploring automatic as well, but we haven't formalized anything. But develop. Like another interesting part is we don't offer web hosting as a service.
Hmm.
We don't resell. I have done that in the past a lot, but I didn't want to get into that game. The reason is like we target mid-market. Most of the time they have got IT department, someone who's head of IT, and we want them to take the ownership. And we just the account ownership, we don't want to take that. And but we take the infrastructure ownership. We have got a DevOps, we
You just
manage that. But
recommend.
still,
You recommend
we
them.
always
You
recommend like
recommend.
go with whatever, like these are the options. Some people use AWS, Google Cloud,
I
whatever.
think that's fine.
We're fine with
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah, that's what
I
we
see
do.
how
We don't.
we also do the same thing unless somebody's like very insistent. No. you have to do everything.
I
Then
know,
we have
I
no
know.
option, then you can't do anything. But yeah, I think I'm on the same purview as well, because at the end of the day, and we can be your support, we can maintain your websites, we can handle your plugin
100%.
updates, theme updates. And tell me about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, tell me about the favorite your favorite plugin stack which you guys implement when you use SEO wise, contact forms. What do you use? What are your favorite? You must have some sort of like a favorite
Yeah, no,
plugin stack.
we do have a list of kind of plugins that we
Mm-hmm.
use kind of in our SOPs as well. A couple
Mm-hmm.
of things I can say quickly is ACF has been our part of the stack for a long time, just the
Okay.
fast performance
Oh.
and so on. You know
Mm-hmm.
that. Recently, a lot of Elementor work as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is marketing people love that.
Of course they
And
do.
for form, we have been using Gravity Forms for most of the time,
Okay.
and that is our go-to plugin for the forms.
Mm-hmm.
And for speed, WP Rocket has been our go-to for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Great company.
For SEO plugin, I think we have been using more Rank Math than Yoast SEO for a long time.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
I mean,
It's
I have used Yoast for maybe probably more than 10, 15 years, but anyway, that's a. But
it's
recently, I think
yeah.
using.
Yoast, the ownership changed from
I
now
know,
it's Blue owned by Bluehost now. So
I know.
yeah.
I think that's where maybe I look. I don't want to comment on that, but yeah, we're using maybe probably rank math more.
I can comment on it. See, even though I'm part of the growth fund, I'm only supposed to say all-in-one SEO is the best SEO plugin, which it truly is. We use all-in-one SEO at
It is.
Seahawk Media and a lot of other companies, but I think Yoast and Rankman also do a fabulous job, and they all have their. I think it's about comfort level, and I think the best way to explain this about SEO plugins and contact form plugins, I have the best example. Okay, are you a coffee or a tea drinker by any chance? Do you like coffee or tea?
Coffee percent.
Coffee. Okay, so I live 2 minutes away from Queensway in London. Okay, and in one street, less than quarter of a mile, there are like 9 cafes. Okay, they all sell an espresso, they all sell a filter coffee, they all sell a cappuccino, and they all have customers. Okay, they all have a queue, and they all have their own loyalty program or something like that. So I think there's a market for everybody. It's just about whom you
Of course,
resonate with more, and
100%.
something like I think so.
True. That's a really good example. Look, most of the time,
Mhm.
what happens to us is
Mm.
we we work with mid-market. There is a marketing team that they already have an existing site. Whatever the experience that they have, marketing team, we want to support them. If someone says, "Look, oh, I've been using Element or I've been using Rank Math, I don't want to use Yoast," and okay, happy for you to, and I'm happy for us to support you on that. So yeah, another analogy I give sometime is iPhone and Android. There is nothing to come Samsung, iPhone, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you have been using it, don't change it.
Yeah, true. I saw on your website that you use that word market text. How do you pronounce? How do you say
Marketechs.
that? Yeah,
Marketechs. Marketechs
yeah.
is our trademark as well.
I
That
saw.
is our
That's why I'm
positioning.
curious.
That is our positioning. Actually, we decided like define that as our kind of one terminology. As I said, like WP Creative fits in the middle. Um, Deb and the marketing agency don't do code. Dev agency don't do marketing, so we put in the middle. We call it Marketechs, marketing vision with
Mm.
technical, like marketing vision and technical precision. So we sub that's more aligned with the
Hmm.
marketing teams the way you support, and that's the perfect I think word we found to resonate and explain what we do.
I see. I think that's pretty cool. You clearly mentioned that you do not you're not a marketing agency. The marketing team
Yeah.
or is an external agency or your in-house team, and you're mainly offering very clean builds to support the marketing agency. That's what
Yeah.
you're defining, and you're focused, hyper focused, but you're catering to every industry, right? And how?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would like to ask you, how did you start acquiring your first customers? Was it networking, or cold calls, or referrals? I grew out
That's
of referrals, to be
that's
very honest, and I owe a lot
yeah.
to my friends and family to in the initial stages. But tell me about how you grew initially, the first 10 or 20
That's really
customers.
good. Yeah, look, I was I was curious about building website, and I
Mm.
had lots of ideas, and I was building on my own, when I was in like medicine and different phases.
Mm.
So I also did worked as a freelancer at the same time because I was curious about building and finding those things. Um, for WP Creative, I think it is from my personal domain, which is online inbound, and I think SEO has been the biggest contributor in our success
I
because
saw you're doing
we
a
have
fabulous
been
job with your
doing a lot of
SEO.
It is
Yeah.
working. We do content, and like I love that kind of thing as well. Marketing, how it works.
Mm,
What do you do?
mm,
How do you make changes? And we support marketing. That means look, and that's where we position
mm,
ourselves. So we have to know
mm.
what we are doing.
True, true, true. That's also true. If a fun one for you, if you were not based in Sydney, where would you be based out of?
That's a really good question.
Or no,
I
considering
would
the
say
WordPress agency game.
I would say California. That was on my list for a long time.
Hmm.
I went there, but I don't know why I didn't decide to. Maybe for family and so on. I thought, look, maybe I like
Mm.
from the business point of view, like my mind, my technical personality, I would choose California
Okay. Yeah.
to be there.
So, and
But from
beaches are
family point
everywhere.
of view, like from the life kind of business, like Sydney is really cool.
Yeah, that I think so. I think so also. I have family and they always say like good things. I think if I was not living in the UK, I probably would choose Miami or maybe I'll move to Australia, but the Australia time zone would have been horrendous for me, to be very honest with you. I am actually in the
I know.
UK, believe it or not. And I have this conversation with my wife who wants to go home all the time. She's homesick and stuff like that. But I am actually here because of the time zone. I think the UK should, because the UK people who I know who invented the time zone, I wonder, and decided the GMT has to be a British
Does
guy, I
that
think.
work with does that work with your team in India or does that work with your customer?
Both,
Um,
both,
okay, both
both
works in the
are
middle.
are
Okay.
yeah, because our customers are spread all over the world. Okay, I'm here in the
Okay.
middle,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I'm talking to you at 7 a.m. I take a break, then I start to do work again, then I take a break, then I do work again. Sometimes the call are
Perfect.
EST, PST, so I
For
can't
me, I
complain.
find the most challenging part is London because it's kind of opposite.
I know,
When we
I
close,
know,
you guys wake up.
I know, I know, I know,
When you
I
go to
know it can
bed,
be.
exactly. It's opposite time. So we never had I mean, we had a couple of clients, but we had a really challenging time zone. So we,
Mm.
yeah, never market, never run or do anything to London.
Yeah, that's I totally hear you. I totally understand that. And I think
But
it's
I
about,
understand your point of view. Yeah,
it depends on the time zone, a lot of other factors in play, the team's time zone, how much,
yeah,
because in the services game, you can only afford a certain amount of salaries. And I totally hear you. I totally
exactly.
understand.
Yeah,
I can totally
yeah.
resonate and relate with you. You actually have been
Unless you
dancing with
get to a
WordPress way
point where
longer
you
than
like
mine.
kind of do 24/7,
Oh,
you could sustain that
yeah.
and yeah, build it in. That's
Yeah,
another game.
I know. It took us also a really long time to get to that, by the way.
I
It
know.
wasn't, it wasn't like, but anyways, I have a question for you, which I ask everybody, I guess, get on this show. Okay. Like, where do you think your personal perspective is about WordPress for the next 3 to 5 years, considering AI, Lovables, Framer, and other technology coming? Wix and Squarespace is doing some great stuff with AI. So your personal perspective about WordPress in the next 3 to 5 years.
That's a really interesting question. I haven't thought about that. I mean, in some ways, I've thought about it. I'm excited for what is going on with AI, and I
Mm,
think WordPress will navigate. I think they're working on the background as well, and the it's a community, so we will navigate that. Like the way I see it is a kind of a user experience. It's a tool.
mm,
We are used to it. It
mm,
has got the highest, kind of the
mm.
users. So I think I think the changes is doesn't happen overnight for this kind of thing. Uh, and we have got a community. We have got so many businesses. She-Hawk and WP Grid is working on the same. We're trying to build efficiency. I think WordPress will still lead from that point of view. Maybe there will be segmentation like the early DIY market. Maybe there
Mhm.
will be tools that is going to do a lot faster and more efficient for small businesses to quickly kind of build in a prompt kind of thing. But the mid market and where it is really doing well, I think it will still remain the leader.
I think so also for
That's
the
my
next
prediction.
5. I think 5 years, it should 5 to 10 years, WordPress is not going to go anywhere. Unlike and legacy players, even Drupal and Joomla still exist. It's not like websites
Yeah,
are gone
of
out.
course it will.
They're still
Yeah,
there.
they have got their
You
own
and I,
market.
yeah, 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 yeah. They have their own
Drupal
market
has
for
got a
sure.
completely different, positioning. Joomla has got a different positioning. WordPress has got a different positioning. They're doing well on that market. It's not the
True.
biggest noise is means like they're only succeeding. WordPress
That's
has got the
true.
biggest noise because the audience is really big from like everyday blogger, everyday person to, the like enterprise. Maybe,
And the plugin repositories are getting better. The code is becoming
of course.
stronger, faster. So I think things are improving a lot there, and
AI is going to
it
help
is
all
only
the
going to improve.
WordPress, the product companies, all the plugin developers, and everyone to do better. do
Hmm.
faster, and that
Hmm.
means it will finally help in the ecosystem to, make it more efficient.
True. That's very true. So, and do you visit any are there any WordPress local events in Australia or WordCamp
Yeah, I
Kathmandu
have
maybe
been
you've
to a
been
couple
to?
of Sydney events. I've been to, yeah, events. I'm not that active into WordPress community these days because I've been too much focused on, I guess, on the building and the business and,
Hmm.
doing my own thing. But that is on my
Hmm.
list as well. Yeah, our team goes, actually. We our team does visit Kathmandu pretty much
Hmm.
every year. They love it,
Yeah.
the community and so on, and
Yeah, because I've
Kathmandu
heard
members.
WordPress Kathmandu community is pretty strong and they organize
Is
it really well. And it's good, very
Yeah,
good sponsors also. Hosting companies
we
sponsor
do.
them and stuff like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
do
yeah.
sponsor in Kathmandu event. Like that's the kind of fractional team because the team is there. So we mostly sponsor there. I have done here as well, Sydney. Not that actively as I wanted to do it. They're like
Hmm.
visiting other, different estates and other legacy, kind of thing, which is on my list. Maybe I'll get there one day.
Yeah, that's cool. I go to WordCamps a lot, especially the big threes, the Asia one, the US one,
Yeah.
and the Europe one. If you get an opportunity, make a family vacation out of it and try to go to the next one. There's
Yeah.
one. The Asia one is in Mumbai, by the way, next year, and the
Ah,
Europe one is
okay.
in Poland, and the Europe one is in Poland.
Okay. India is on my list to visit with family. So maybe that's a good opportunity.
Yes, yes, that's what, and I think it's going to be a very big one because a lot of people actually are curious about India who have never visited India. Also, we have, so we know, but a lot of
I
people are
already said
not.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
exactly.
opportunity to travel and, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But I think that's a very good opportunity. I always educate our viewers for this show, and I've said this before also. The WordCamp community should hire me or about being an evangelist for the WordCamps sector because I owe a lot to the WordCamp communities and it's very well organized. And the Oregon, the US one, but happened twice in the same location. So I'm not very happy about that, but I can't complain because I'm meeting a lot of
Of
friends
course.
and same partners
Yeah.
in the ecosystem sector. But WordCamps are really good. Nobody's trying to sell you anything. People just educating
Ah,
about the products and
exactly.
services and probably.
It's a
So
community
that's.
anyway. Yeah.
But anyways, that's about it. Anyways, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being on my show. It was great meeting you. This evening for you, morning for me. I wish you a great weekend. Your weekend has already started. You're from Australia, so I'm assuming that you're gonna fire up your barbecue. I don't know if you do that.
It has been constantly pouring in Sydney, raining, and the weather is not
Oh.
fantastic, but yeah, I think summer is coming. Waiting
Anyway,
for
thank you so
summer.
much for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nirmal. Take care. Have a nice one.
Pleasure to chat. Thank you. Thanks, Gautam.
Bye.